can't conceal it, but deep down I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing the one who loved me, for who I can't go back to. Walking through all the dust, memories and frame, a past we simply let be. But I don't close the door, waiting a chance for when we'll be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you. You make me feel amazing when I'm next to you. You make me feel so crazy, my heart breaks for you. Can't help but know that I'm still in love with you. You make me feel so. When there's no hope, loving for you who saw me before I knew who I'd be. What I have around me means nothing to me if I can't share it with you. Walking through all the dust, memories and frame, a past we simply let be. But I don't close the door, waiting a chance for when we'll be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you. You
Hey everybody, welcome back. Sorry, the videos were on a loop. We're not in a loop. Welcome everybody to the live. I thought it'd be fun to take an hour this Friday evening and chat with everybody, see how you're all doing. I am going to see my friend in a show today, so I'm kind of excited to see them. But I got to talk to the Red Lipstick Club for a second. It's been a day. Who's in here? Are you guys chatting in here? Let me see. Let's see who's here. I am definitely ready for the next episode of Sister Wives. We shall see how episode 3 goes. And I am curious, did all of you guys hear about Christine going to court and filing a suit for child support for Cody? Which means he also has to do a DNA test because he is not on the birth certificate. Surprise, surprise. No one's surprised. He's not on the birth certificate. So they're going to have to do now a DNA test. And I think there's also a few additional stipulations that Christine put in that order surrounding like harassment, among other things. So I'm just curious how it got to this. I'm curious. I'm curious how it got to this. I need to see here. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty crazy. Hopefully, if you guys can hear me, if you can make sure you put in the chat, yes, I can hear you, Anna, you're good. I am using the mic today, so it's a little bit different. So just let me know. Okay, good. Thank you, Bugus. Yeah, so I'm curious how you guys feel about this. How do you feel about Christine going to court, filing court docs now to take him to get Cody for child support? And I think too, when you take somebody to court for child support, you have to disclose all your financial information. So this is about to get kind of messy, unfortunately, because now we're going to see exactly where Cody's money is, what his job actually is, where all the money's going, like what he can really afford to do. Do you guys think this whole child support suit is also going to push Robin to leave him? Do y'all think it's going to push Robin to leave him? Because if they're taking into consideration his sister wives show money and then whatever else he says he's doing, gun selling at gun shows, whatever he says he's doing, I mean, it could be a pretty penny. Like, I don't know if anyone else has dealt with anything surrounding child support. I was in a relationship with someone that paid child support, and that person had the mom had like a full custody primarily, and it wasn't like the thousand. It was a lot of money, and this was like a regular working individual. It was over $1,000 a month. So I'm thinking about Cody's situation. He could be paying in the thousands for a truly thousands. Tomorrow rains. I guess you say should be interesting. I agree. And I'm also too, I guess I'm kind of curious, what were they doing that thing? Because Truly was born right when they started this show. So why were they still not putting names on birth certificates at that point? And was it because Christine was claiming benefits as a single parent? What was it? Why were they not putting names on birth certificates back then? Is that why? Tomorrow rains. It's always the nice ones who screw you over. You like Robin will leave and ask for child support too. Yeah, and Robin's got two young kids. How old are her? Well, she has the one that's basically Truly's age, Solomon. He's 13 now, I believe, or getting close to 13. And then Ariella, is that her name? Ariella. She is what, 8 now? 8 or 9. I forget how old she is sometimes because they have infantilized that kid so much that I forget how old she is. Because when I think about it, she was going to kindergarten. When was that? End of 2020 when they first let them go back to school. So that was like 4 years ago. So she's like 9 or 10 years old now. I forget how old she is because they tried to treat her like a baby for so long. I thought she was like 5 years old for like 10 years. So I think she's like 10 now. But yeah, Robin definitely could. And then because I think Robin also at this point, that will be the only time Robin will reveal that he's been taking care of her is when it's based off how much child support she's getting. I think if she ended up leaving him and filing, she would say that she needed him, that she was a stay-at-home mom, that she needed his income so she could get not only child support but spousal support. And it's all going to come out. Tomorrow, what are you saying? He did not put his info on Truly's birth certificate because of the law, but all of a sudden he was law abiding with Robin adopting her kids, etc. Exactly. I just thought by the time Truly came around, why are we still not putting names on birth certificates? Why are we still playing that game? You're on TV. I mean, like the gig is up. Or sorry, the jig is up. You're on TV now. You've outed yourself. So why wouldn't you put your name on Truly's birth certificate? Maybe, I don't know, maybe Christine and them didn't want the other kids to feel left out or treated differently, but just a little confused by that. A little confused by that. So I'm thinking maybe this weekend, to get away from Sister Wives for a second. I'm thinking maybe this weekend I might have some time to try to binge watch Mormon Wives, or the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which everyone is saying is fantastic. I'm also seeing everybody online with my friends talking about it. So we might be binging that just so I can come back and do a live and chat with you guys. I got to go ahead and just watch it because I can't get too far along where nobody cares anymore. So I'm gonna have to go and watch it this weekend. It's such a shame that Cody never did anything for the other women except be their sexual partner. Well, you know what's so funny is, I guess when you hear the other women, it's not that they said he was the the worst parent ever or like the worst partner ever. I just It just kind of got, I think, progressively worse as maybe time went on, or they just gave him a lot of excuses. Like he was clearly always a narcissist, but I think it just got worse, like. And also these women, as you start gaining independence and freedom, and you just start to realize you were um tolerating a lot of stuff that you probably should not have been tolerating. And I bet you all three of the OG three started to realize they were tolerating a lot of what they should not have been tolerating. So I want to talk to you guys about some things that from last week's episode, week two, or episode 2 from this season. And I've been just kind of listening and watching everybody else kind of talk about it. And I brought it up a little bit in my review about how, actually, in episode 1 and episode 2, I brought up that I felt like Janelle was just kind of like brushing things under the carpet, that she was making it seem like everything was no big deal. And then as we see not Janelle, but Christine has a completely different outlook on everything. She's pushing Janelle to, respond to her and let her know, like, are you leaving him, or like, what are you doing? She wants an answer, right? And Janelle, says, oh, she calls herself getting upset about it. She doesn't want to have to answer to Christine or give Christine a definitive, yes, I'm divorcing Cody. But do you think Janelle's kind of passive response to this, it could be a number of things, but you guys let me know what you think it is. Do you think her passive response is her having an emotionless response to the trauma of getting divorced, right? So like she's basically doing this because the trauma of basically being an abandoned wife, this is the only way that she can get through it. Or do you guys think she's brushing it under the carpet because she really just doesn't care at all? I don't know. I always thought that she was, very clear-headed, uh, analytical, almost a little a little masculine in nature when it came to how she process feelings. But I just don't see after 30 plus years and 6 kids that that's what this is. I don't know. What's Bug is saying? I think Janelle is tiptoeing until she gets what's hers. Maybe that's it. Because obviously, I mean, Cody will tell everybody he's not watching this show, but we know for a fact he is. And that's probably why he has these weird reactions, and he's always saying everything's about gossip and so on and so forth. So maybe that is the case, that Janelle is kind of dancing around the situation um till she gets what's hers. But I'm kind of thinking, I almost feel like she's underestimating a little bit what he actually owes her. And to the point where, you know how some people, because they've played fair their whole lives, they play fair with themselves too. So in her brain, she's thinking, okay, the only thing I'm really owed is this piece of land, and that's all I care about, and that's it. When in actuality, if they probably went to court and they started calculating everything and doing all the numbers, Cody owes her 10 times the amount of what she assumes he owes her, because she's a fair one. But if she didn't want to be fair and she just wanted to go for what was hers, she could probably clean that man out. And I don't think she even realizes that she could just clean him out. Like I saying, Cody seems to shut down when he's confronted. Janelle is hopefully working her angles. I, I'm hoping. I have a mix. I have a mix to feel. What does Anne think? She does not want the stigma of divorce, and she is conflict avoidant. She is very conflict avoidant. Now, that is a good point. She very much is. And also, not just around her own marriage, but about her children. I think her kids have been the only push for her to face the conflict head on, because now his behavior and his choices are having a negative emotional impact on her children, right? Once her kids started feeling like he was like abandoning them as a father, I think that's what kind of kicked her into overdrive. And she said to herself, oh, okay, I can't avoid this conflict of your relationship with my children anymore. Now, I can avoid our relationship conflict, but I cannot avoid you abandoning your children, which he clearly has done. Which he clearly has done. Tomorrow, I think Janelle is a leave it alone till it gets bad type of person. Yikes, true. She still is negotiating with Maddie how he may want to pay off the land. She's logical, but a bit too naive. You guys. Okay, some of you guys commented in the in the in the comments for my last video. Also, thank you guys for all the comments. I love you all. Thanks for participating and like going back and forth with me. I love it. And back and forth with each other. But the side eye Maddie gave her mom when her mom was like talking about, oh, he wouldn't just let the property go. Like, there's no way he wouldn't pay that. And Maddie's, it's like Maddie's thinking, Mom, don't you know who you're dealing with? Like, you of all people, you of all people, the one that was managing the money, knew how reckless he was with money, knows how spiteful he is. You're shocked that he may just let this go just to spite you. He manipulated you. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong or not, but didn't it kind of feel like when they first moved from Vegas to Flagstaff and Maddie was like, "Why are y'all moving?" You know, don't you think Maddie kind of felt then a little bit like this feels very manipulative? Like, why are you selling your homes? Why are you doing all this? Maddie and also Aspen too. It felt like those two, and probably because they were really the closest to their moms, so their moms were probably mildly venting the realities of the situations and the realities of their marriages, unfortunately. It felt like both of them were on the same page with that. Like, why are y'all moving? This feels suspicious. So Maddie giving her mom the side eye. Oh my God. Tell me if you guys felt like that was you in that moment. Cause I feel like every Sister Wives fan that was watching was doing that exact same side eye to Janelle. Like, girl, what? He's a crook. Moya says the name not being on the birth certificate never made sense to me. Name on birth certificate does not mean you're married to that person or even in a relationship. Yeah, and I think too the only reason why for a long time they didn't do it is that number one they had fear behind them from being in plural marriage because it was all the legalities around it, right? So they didn't want to showcase that he was having all of these children with these women, I guess. And that he was basically cohabitating and claiming these women as wives. But also, I think too, because I'm not going to say it's a scam, but it's kind of a scam with when it comes to the system, the not child support system, but the services like uh, food stamps, assistance, financial assistance, all the programs. I think if his name would have been on the birth certificate, they could have came after him, in which case they would have said, well, you got two parents and you have these salaries, so you don't qualify. And just because you decide to have 12 kids doesn't mean that you now qualify for these benefits because you have multiple working people in the house. So I don't know. I feel like maybe some of the welfare benefits they were probably trying to get to. Because they were parentified kids, so they grew up before their mothers did all the side. Tomorrow, If you, I don't know, Tamara, how long have you been following me? You must have been following me long enough to have seen how many videos I have talked in about the parentification of the brown kids, and specifically the parentification of Aspen, Logan, and partways Maddie. I don't think Maddie got it as bad because Logan was there, and Logan picked up a lot of the slack. Um, that's why I think she's been able to like be a mother in a healthy way now, because she got a slight skosh of a break. But notice Aspen and Logan, the two oldest, have no children because they literally were parents since they were like 8 years old, and they have like no kids. So they've been like literally parentified forever. So when people say, "Oh, I love the big family," okay, that's great. Your kids didn't ask to be parents because y'all wanted to have a whole bunch of kids. Like, no. Ooh, since last year, tomorrow. Okay, love it. Okay. So then yes, so you've been around. You had to have seen some videos where I was like, the parentification of these kids is insane. It makes me sick. And then McKelty's relationship with Robin is another example of that, because she had McKelty over there helping her to raise her kids. Parentification. Also, you guys, if you just came in, welcome. Don't forget to hit the like button so everybody knows that we're live and they'll come join in and hang out with us. We're still going to be here for at least another almost 40 minutes. So I'm gonna spend the hour with everybody. So come hang out with us for a little bit. Hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, join us. We have a good time. Sometimes I go live to chat about Sister Wives or whatever else we want to talk about. And then I drop a video each week for the new season. What's up, Anne? Anne says, Janelle is not logical. Otherwise, Cody and Robin would not easily take their money and use them the way they have. She's just faithful, not logical. Well, she's faithful. She very much is. I think she's logical um to a detriment, because logically she thinks that everybody's thinking fairly, because she went into this relationship thinking this is a partnership. So logically, if this is a partnership, you guys will be treating me fairly. She didn't realize that she was with snakes. I mean, notice how she, even if she doesn't really care for Mary, notice her focus is, okay, let's buy him out because I want to make sure Mary gets her share. I want to do what's fair. So fair to a fault, right? Fair to a fault. Hi, Phoenix. Welcome. And we miss you too. Oh, what's tomorrow? What are you saying tomorrow? You got some good stuff here popping up here. I love it. I had a friend whose sister was like her mom. Her sister basically said, I raised y'all, let me live, and never got me. I mean, I could see that. I could see that. Glad to have you here too, Phoenix. Yeah, I only had a little brother, and I actually told my parents I really resented when I was around fourth grade or so. From about fourth grade on, I was having to, leave school right away to pick up my little brother. Well, we would go to the daycare lady, and then I'd have to walk with my brother, home. So I would say once I hit sixth grade, my parents were like, okay, well, we're not going to pay for daycare for your little brother anymore. You're old enough to stay at home on your own now, right? So I had to walk to my brother, pick my brother up from after school, walk home, and have to be home with him until my parents got off work. And if that's what we had to do that then. Our parent we had to have two parents working. Daycare has always been a very expensive cost. Um, but it does kind of rob the oldest child of their ability to be a child. Just kind of makes you have to grow up fast. And I think that's just a society thing. So then I look at this situation where you don't just have one younger sibling, you're making these older children have 10 plus younger siblings, that there's no way one mom can be accountable for all of them. So guess what? Now the kid has to. And if you looked at Logan's situation, Janelle was working full time. She was out the house by 6:30 a.m. He's stuck now being the parent because Cody's doing whatever he thinks he is more important than getting his children up every morning. I was like, wasn't the whole point of a polygamous situation that you would have more adults in the home to help manage the children, so that number one, everybody gets a break, but also there's always extra help. I guess I just don't understand the point of you needing to have a ton of children because you're polygamous. Like 2 kids a person, that is manageable. That's a one adult for every 2 kids, two 1.5 adults for every 2 kids, and you act no 2.5. You have an extra mom. So if I needed a break, there's an extra mom that can come in. Y'all having 15, 20, 30 kids, that's the problem. It's too many kids. Kim, hi everyone. Saw a YouTube video today and there's research that narcissists have distinct eyebrows. It's a thing. I cracked up thinking about Robin. Listen, why hasn't she fixed those eyebrows yet, y'all? Why has nobody helped her? Nobody likes. That's how you know nobody likes her, because somebody should have done that. Somebody should have helped her with those eyebrows. Anybody. Somebody. Scarlett, yes, you are on live. We're live. We see you. So you can chat with people in the comments because we're live. We love it here. Yeah, so yeah, the Maddie side eye to me was fantastic. So now have you guys been watching? Janelle has opened up the farm. I guess they said it's like maybe a floral farm with Maddie and Caleb. So they're gonna have a farm together now, which I love. They said, and also McKelty's moved to North Carolina. I wonder if McKelty is gonna join that or help out with that endeavor. Thought that was interesting. Lots of stuff going on with the Browns. Becky, basically the money that Janelle and Mary should be giving to their kids as an inheritance one day, Robin will be given to her kids instead. That's pretty much it. Um, that's pretty much how it's going. But as we see the manipulation that Cody put in place, first off with Mary making Mary feel as though there was any chance of survival for that marriage, and convincing her that, hey, if we go to Flagstaff, we're going to get a fresh new start. And then she ends up selling her home and investing back into Robin's home, right? So he trapped all their money and their freedom and their resources. He just trapped them. Oh, there goes our mod. Hi, Kayla. Welcome back. I know, girl, this is my second live from coming back from hiatus. I told everybody I am alive. I'm actually really glad to be back. I missed everybody. I missed just hanging out with you guys and just talking about nonsense like this. Uh, but yeah, you know me. I needed that after Garrison. I'm sorry. I'm not making videos about Garrison. That is not was not okay with me. I don't care what anybody else did. I don't care if every other content creator did that, if it's their livelihood, whatever, so be it. But for me, I may not know these people, but I watched that kid grow up on TV. I do not want to be making money off of his death. That's too much for me. I'm sorry. I was honestly in mourning around that. I was so sad. I was so upset about that. And maybe too, also, it's because when I first started watching the show, it's because I just loved the family. I love seeing their dynamic. I thought it was so interesting. I love that they were willing to share it. And especially the kids, I just always had a special place in my heart for the kids because, um, anytime you're fighting for attention like that, it just always would just break my heart. And then to see how accomplished Janelle's sons are, I mean, all of them have just been so successful in life, and even going through all that transition and all of that trauma, seeing where Garrison was, buying his own home, being in the military, just having all this success, and for him to still feel that way, to where he just didn't want to stay on the earth. I mean, that just was devastating to me. I just did not want to talk about it. This is, even now, I don't even want to talk about it, but I just kind of want to let you guys know, like, why I really was okay with the hiatus, because I just didn't want to talk about that. Just wasn't okay for me. Yeah, I didn't know either. I'll tell you right now, once you stop, it's really easy not to come back. I'll be honest with you. Once you stop being in the routine of making the videos and the content and scheduling your time around that, it is a real commitment. Um, and also too with my actual career, I got really busy with that. And so it's really easy to just say, "Oh, I don't really want to get on camera. I don't, I don't want to do the research." But I think it's going to be just honestly easier for me too because I am not making all the in between. This is what's going on every single second of Sister Wives. I will not do it. But I might go back to doing some of the look back videos of like looking at older episodes. um, Maybe we'll even do like a poll or something to see like what episode you guys want me to react to, like an actual video, like tape reaction to, so you can see my reaction and we could talk about it. That would be kind of fun because I feel like there's some episodes from all the seasons that people are like, we want to know what Anna would have thought while watching that particular episode. So maybe we'll do that. I think that'll be kind of fun. What else do we have going on? Scarlett, having a hiatus is a good thing. It is a good thing. It's definitely good for me. Looks like you took it hard too, watching them all these years. I cried like a baby over that. Yeah, I just was. I really struggled with it. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I really struggled with Garrison. It's like I felt like I'm like that's not my family member, but I felt like I had lost a family member. It was just, I mean, I haven't felt that bad since, like, when Prince died. I was really devastated about Prince. Like, some of my family and my friends were calling me about it because they knew how much I loved Prince and how much his music meant to me. And this felt like worse than that for me. I was like, I just because I feel like I was just watching this guy. I was just watching this young man on my screen. And what? Like, oh my God, I could not take it. Kayla Robin should call herself the robber because she stole her money. I'm gonna tell you now. Now that Christine, you guys, has filed this suit for child support, all that stuff is about to come out. Like it's really hard to avoid that not coming out. Kind of like when you get a divorce and you have to pull all your paperwork out and show all your stuff and your documentations and your finances and where everything's going. It's like that too with child support. So we're about to start, some stuff's about to get exposed. I don't even know if I want to know it all, but we won't have a choice. It's going to be public knowledge. Heard someone say Robums today. Robums. Them eyebrows got robbed, that's for sure. Shauna, I'm so proud of the OG3 doing what they can to actually build something beyond the TV show. Versus what Cody and Robin crying about how the OG3 left because they chose not to take their abuse anymore. I really do agree with that as well, Shauna. Thanks for commenting that. Um, it especially too for like let's talk Christine for instance. And I know Mary was able to obtain some more additional education, but Christine did not have any education after high school. She eventually went on to get her like real estate license, but it's not like she had a whole bunch of extra education to have an additional skill set outside of being a stay-at-home mom. She also didn't have the work experience outside of being a stay-at-home mom. And that can be really tough. There's lots of women that when they get married and they stay at home, and let's say they've been at home for 10 years, that's like a 10-year gap in your work history, right? So it can be really difficult to find a job that's going to pay you enough to be able to take care of your family. Now I'm not a big fan of MLMs, but I do think that they have all just found a way to make it happen to take care of themselves and their families, and to be able to say, hey, if this show goes down tomorrow, I can at least put food on my table and make sure my kids are okay. And I really love Janelle and Maddie investing in this farm. So it seems like they've kind of taken that MLM money, invested in this farm. So ultimately, they can just leave that behind and actually do something they really want to do. That's what it's seeming to me, which I feel like Janelle spoke this into existence, right? Because she's been talking about farm life for forever. So for her to actually have the farm, you guys, doesn't that kind of make you feel like, makes me happy for her? Makes me really happy. Hi, Pink Butterfly. It felt like we cared more about Garrison than Cody did. He didn't go to Garrison's home. I, Maybe that's it too. I feel because I didn't know what was going on with that relationship, and my last um experience of their relationship was Garrison being at the table with Janelle and Christine and Gwen. Who else is there? Gabe. were all there together, and how he was talking about how that they don't need a father figure anymore, which you knew was just coming from a place of pain and hurt, right? Like everyone, not that you need a father figure, but if you had one and then you no longer have one, it, you're not saying you don't need it because you don't want it. You're saying you don't need it because your hands are tied. You don't really have a choice outside of that. Um, so yeah, I definitely think that. I mean, I would hate to say that somebody, a stranger that has never met his child, cares about him more than his actual father did. But I mean, he really wasn't displaying anything different. And I could see people having, you know, uh, strained relationships with parents. You know, my own family has experienced that as well. But I would even say with my own, no one could say that a stranger loved a sibling more than my parent did. With Cody, I don't know. It's suspicious to me. The way he abandoned all his kids like that and just like jumped ship with Robin, that's hard for him. He got some explaining to do. He was like, "Yep, all the financials are about to be exposed. All that money from the sale of their house is about to be in Christine's." I'm telling you, listen, y'all, it's about to get real. It's about to get real crazy. Let me keep scrolling. Sorry, I'm way behind y'all. I'm over here pitter pattering around with comments. You guys have been commenting in here. Kayla goes, Janelle should have insisted that their names be on that house. They held the power at that time. That right there, when she said that, you guys, um, when she said that Cody just bamboozled her, oh, I don't, talked her out of making sure that all their names were on that property for Robin. I mean, talk about a dumb move. Now that is when I can just flat out say, Janelle, you're an idiot. How? Especially you of all people know how that man moves. You know how he manages money. You know he's like terrible when it comes to financing and all of the above. You of all people know better than to let Cody get away with that. You of all people know better than to let him get away with that. The fact that not all of their names, and honestly, let me pause on that. Why did Robin also, you know how Robin's like, in last episode, Robin was like, oh, the house is supposed to be, an investment for everybody. So, even though I'm living there while in the meantime, but when we build, this is supposed to be money that we have for the whole family. It's supposed to be an investment for everybody. If you actually felt that way, Robin, and not just for the camera right now, wouldn't you have insisted that you guys not buy that house unless every single person's name was on it, or you guys had a contract in place? So you can say what you want to say in front of this camera to make yourself look innocent, like you had no parts in any of this and you just were such a team player. But you also didn't push. You didn't push for those things to happen either. You didn't push. She conveniently always left herself in a position where she was just like floating, where she didn't have to take much accountability, but she could also go back and say, "Well, see, I said something. Look, I said it was for all of us." It's like, okay, girl. Pink Butterfly says Janelle's partially to blame. She ignored problems instead of addressing them head on. She ignored a lot of problems. I think too, I'm sure, even when I think about Garrison, which I don't, this is probably the last time I'm talking about this, but, and just quickly, because this didn't just impact him. I can even just focus this on Gabe, and also, a little bit on Logan, and what's the real sweet one? Um, who's the oldest of them? Why can't I remember his name? The wrestler, the nurse. Why can I not remember his name? That's gonna somebody put in the comments. You know who I'm talking about. But anywho, all the struggles that they had with all the moving, and then how Janelle was at that time saying, "Oh, my kid is really, looks like he's clinically depressed," and then for her to go about that and put that same strain and pressure on Gabe and a little bit too on Garrison, and like that move put that strain on Savannah, you know, to move to Flagstaff. I'm like, why are you moving? Why? because his behavior didn't start in Flagstaff. His behavior started back in Vegas. He was already, limiting his time in Vegas. Hunter, thank you. I don't know why I don't remember because I love that name. Hunter, the sweet Hunter. Who I'm gonna tell you right now, Hunter. Everybody kind of looks to Logan and think Logan is like the dad, the father figure. But have you guys really seen how Hunter just steps in with like all the family, go visits everybody? I mean, he goes to see Mary, Christine, Maddie's kids. I mean, McKelty's kids. I mean, he is everywhere. Hunter is just like the sweetest young man. I am so thankful that family has him and has Logan, because to me those two gentlemen have really stepped up, man, in the absence of Cody. The fact that as terrible as Cody is, he wasn't able to ruin those two speaks volumes, right? Definitely speaks volumes. Famous nobody. Hey, famous nobody. The OG3 are too passive. It's always, well, Cody said or Cody wanted. It's hard to feel sorry for them. They are very passive. I'm not gonna lie to you. At least Christine, you could see Christine though after the divorce. It was just like she said, no, pause. I'm calling everything out. So you guys know that Mary was talking about how she's going to be writing this book and everything, and I'm wondering how detailed she's going to get in this book. We're already kind of seeing her also open her mouth more because of all the people. She was the one constantly making excuses for Cody. I mean, constantly. And it feels like this season, they're not showing her as much as I honestly wish they would, because she just really doesn't care, it seems. But I feel like this season, y'all, she's about to let him have it. She's about to start spilling all the tea. And also how he, like, the way he disrespects her and talks about her just makes me sick. So I feel like she has every right to air him completely out. Because especially with him getting with Janelle, something about that whole arrangement to me is still really off. It is still really off to me. Really off. Tomorrow Reigns with Robin and the property. It is the how can we even work that out? Oh yeah, how to repay Janelle Mary, and the answer a calculator, a calculator app, a search engine calculator, an app, AI. Tomorrow, okay. Let's. Did you guys like? I, I part of it was laughing, but part of it was like I want to choke this lady out. What do you mean you don't? It'd be difficult to calculate. You sell it, you divide the assets. That that's how that works. That's why you get an investment property. It's based off the percentages in which you've invested. That's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. Diva Mom J says, when you are brought up to think a certain way, it takes a lot to break the spell. Honestly, if it wasn't for the show, they would still be stuck with Cody. Yeah, because the show at least gave them the opportunity to, number one, get a little bit away from their community, right? Get a few states away from the community. And then when they went to Vegas, remember they had to be all split in different homes because there wasn't one home for them. So then, although it was stressful, they gained some immediate independence with that. And then also, when you think about it, when he did come to see them, they had then at that point really got an idea of what it felt like to have him on his own, focused on them and focused on their children. So then I think when he wasn't there, the absence became the rec the realization that he wasn't really around felt like it was greater, because when they're in the one big house, even though he may not be in your side of the house, you knew that he was in the home. So it didn't feel so absent. But when they're in an entirely different house down the street, around the corner, you really start to fill that gap. And I think that really pushed Christine over the edge. She could definitely feel that. But that independence that they obtained, they recognized they could start doing things on their own. Even Christine said once they moved to Flagstaff, she really felt that. She's like, I could do bad by myself. I don't need you. Hey, Tessa. Tessa's like crazy. Since Janelle had the first baby, he is on her kid's birth certificate. Interesting. Mariah was first wife, Mary's baby, so she got him on her birth certificate, but none of Christine's, but is on Solomon's. Insulting. Yeah, and I'm wondering, you guys, because um we all know that Janelle grew up in polygamy as well. And she seemed to have some of them seemed to have the greatest fear of being discovered based off her family's past experiences with the raids and everything like that. So I'm wondering for a while if that was just Christine saying I don't want to, and then eventually maybe when she got to the point where even if she did want it, um she was manipulated to not, for financial reasons. I'm curious. I mean, as we all said, even Christine said she was the basement wife, right? So she just kind of got the leftovers, unfortunately. I applaud Janelle Christine for the amazingness of, I agree. They really tag team those kids phenomenally. Those kids turned out fantastic. Becky, why didn't the OG3 just tell Robin and Cody to move to Flagstaff and be happy and they just stay in Vegas? Think how happy they and their kids would have been. I think for as we're seeing you guys in this season so far, we're getting a deeper look into how committed Janelle and Mary seem to still be to the faith. Like they may not be going to church, but the belief of plural marriage and what that stands for and the religion behind that, and if the fact that it's an eternal covenant that they took and that they are uh connected for all eternity. I believe for them, even if there was a window into continuing the relationship so that they can actually, be together in heaven, and people assume in heaven it'll be perfect and all the problems you have on earth you will no longer have in heaven, but okay. I think that's probably why they just didn't tell her that. But I think once they got to Flagstaff, and I think COVID just really exposed how Cody really felt about his family and everybody else. I think COVID was a straw that broke the camel's back. And even Janelle was like, okay, like I'm independent, but I'm not this damn independent. Well, thanks for subscribing, Scarlett. Welcome to the Red Lipstick Club. Yes, they were indoctrined from very young, especially Mary and Janelle. Not Janelle, but Christine. Janelle was an adult when she came in, and Cody was like what, 18 or something when his dad came in too. I just think he had no business ever being in polygamy. And I don't know, do you guys watch um the creator channel, not Born Into Polygamy, what are they called? Um Something along those lines. It's like the married couple. She was in Latter-day Saints, and he grew up in growing up polygamy. I think that's what they call. But he grew up in the Warren Jeff sect of polygamy. But they did a fantastic interview with Brady from My Five Wives, and it's a two-part interview. I thought it was fantastic. I'm really glad that they were the two to do it, simply because the gentleman, I wish I could remember their name. I've watched enough to remember. I feel bad, but since he grew up in polygamy and she grew up as a Mormon, I really felt like they had real bird's eye view of what everybody would be experiencing, and I thought they were just so respectful. And then they had reviewed the show, which I loved. My Five Wives. I was so sad it was gone when it left. Um, but you could just tell that the way Brady handled polygamy, even though now he's probably like, yeah, I probably wouldn't choose it, and neither would my wives probably. But in that moment, I just felt like he was built for it. Like if there was going to be somebody built for the lifestyle, I feel like Brady was built for it, because you really got to be selfless. You got to let the ego go. And I think that's why his wives are beyond the religious portion. I think that's why his wives are still there today, because he continues to work at it. Becky, if there were no show, there would be no Robin. So then being with Cody wouldn't have been so bad. I think he still would have got somebody, Becky. It just wouldn't have been on film. I think he still would have got somebody. He was going through a midlife crisis. I think it still would have happened. If it wasn't for Robin, it would have been some other young girl. I hate to say it. It's not that hard to look at bank transactions to see what these ladies deposited into those. Oh, yeah, it's not. I think they could easily figure out how to give them their money. Easily. Crystal's like, Janelle may never get her money back because she has nothing in writing tying her to anything other than the plot of land she owns. It would be considered a gift in court without a contract. Only thing I do wonder though is I don't know how much is actually filmed. Like I wonder if they have filming of them talking about them investing the money and Cody and them saying, yeah, they invested. Do y'all remember if they did or not? I don't remember in any of these Flagstaff episodes if that's on camera or maybe it's on film, they just didn't air it. I'd be curious to see if that was something that they were interviewed about where the money went, because I feel like it might have been. You said all three marriages were already over behind the scenes. I feel like Mary's was for sure. I don't believe that Christine was all the way, even though, especially and maybe if you're talking about at the beginning of the show, I do not believe that. I think they had struggles. I think Mary's was probably definitely almost basically done. But he didn't want to mess that up. So I think he just was lying to Mary. Janelle and Christine, I think he would have been okay. But as he said, he fell in love. So he just didn't have it for them anymore because he never loved them, apparently. Kelly goes, I think Janelle still believes. I don't think Mary believes. She's just going through the church to piss Cody off. Maybe. That's so petty. That's definitely my style though. That's real petty of her if that's the case. She's like, I'm gonna really make you pay eternally, eternally make you pay. Sam and Melissa, thank you, Kayla. Yes, that's their names, Sam and Melissa. Um, they're fantastic. I just think they're just the sweetest couple. I love watching them, and I loved the interview they did. If you haven't, so yes, I am sending you over there to watch that interview. Fantastic interview that they did with Brady. And yes, Brady does not. That's why I think when you hear Brady talk about how he doesn't believe, the wives don't took the wives different time periods to stop believing. But I just think, even though he doesn't believe, I just think that shows what type of man he was at the beginning and just his level of commitment. And that he even speaks to the fact that I'm just thankful that I actually did like fall in love with each one of these women. Because I don't think he could have stayed with them after the belief was gone. Because once you don't have that religion that's driving your choices, it's kind of like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing it? But I love them. I thought they were so cute. Tomorrow, she does not need money. There's enough on film. Robin herself said the money was given to give back to the family if their property is sold. Just that admission. That's what I'm thinking too. I feel like there is enough on camera from everyone talking about it, where a lawyer could use that in court. A lawyer could use that in court. Coddling Jen. You know what? Jen was a caller, but I do feel like Jen was kind of airing stuff out when they did those look back episodes. She was kind of calling some stuff out on that when Jen was on that. She was kind of hilarious. Actually, I feel like Jen was saying some of this stuff we wanted to say in that moment. So yeah, it looks like you guys are talking to a little bit about if he'll ever get another wife or what he'll do. I mean, he's part of that red pill movement, which I think is scary and terrifying. And is like ruining marriages and making men really terrible. The red pill movement. If you haven't looked it up, I'm telling y'all, it is very scary. So yeah, we're gonna have episode 3 coming up this Sunday. So we will absolutely do a review. Um, Also, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if you guys been keeping track of this like P Diddy stuff, but the only reason I bring it up is because his defense attorney is none other than Mark Agnifilo, who was the same attorney for sex cult leader Keith Raniere, the leader of Nexium, the Nexium cult. I don't know if any of you guys got into that. I went down the rabbit hole on Nexium content. I am even a Patreon member of a little bit culty podcast with Sarah Edmondson from um, Nexium and Nippy Ames, her husband. But if you didn't watch the documentary The Vow that was on Max, they have 2 seasons of that. But there's a lot of content surrounding Nexium. I went down the rabbit hole, okay? But If you go on The Vow season 2, you can actually see Mark Agnifilo and see the defense in which he used for Keith Raniere, because the charges for Diddy and the charges for Raniere are very similar, almost identical: racketeering, trafficking. So it's just interesting to see him try to use the same type of wackadoodle defenses for Diddy that he did for Raniere. And FYI, Raniere is like 100 years under the jail. Like, he ain't getting out. So if you guys need some other content that has nothing to do with Sister Wives, but is highly addicting to see how insane, how down the rabbit hole you can go, I encourage you to watch The Vow on Max, or listen to a little bit culty podcast, because you can get a firsthand account. Lots of books out. There's also Seduced, which is another documentary that they did on the Nexium cult. But baby, if you're already streaming Sister Wives through Max, that means you already have access to The Vow, so you can watch it. And tell me what you think about that. Maybe we'll talk about that. But I'm going to be following that because I want to see how this man is going to try to convince people in a federal case that he's not guilty. If the feds come for you, y'all, feds don't come for you unless they can put you in the jail. They just don't. It is like next to impossible to beat a federal case. Like, literally next to impossible. Literally next to it. Tomorrow's like, I'll be there for the Diddy. That lawyer has a room next to that of Diddy's in the Devil's Lair. Is a lifestyle, really. I'm telling you guys, y'all have to watch season 2 of both. Watch all of Vow. Watch season 1, 2, but then watch season 2 of The Vow. You can see Mark Agnifilo at work. You can see the prosecutors in New York, how they were able to prosecute Keith Raniere utilizing the same type of tactics they use for organized crime for the mafia. They took those tactics and applied that to these sex cult. What's the word they use? What type of coercive control type situations, because most of them deal with money, power, sex. It's all a lot of crazy mess. Anywho, that's how they got Keith, is by bringing up racketeering charges, because it's an organization where a lot of people are contributing to what's happening, and also trafficking, which is something that the women around Keith Raniere were doing, trafficking women to him. So it's crazy. It is another thing we could talk about. It is technically reality. That's why I'm talking about it. I had to talk about it. But I don't know if y'all been watching that, but woohoo! We might be chatting about that. If something else comes out, y'all, I will jump on a live and see what's really going on. I'm really too I'm gonna be watching out to see when a little bit culty does their episode on this situation, and I will post it in the community chat if you guys want to watch their or listen to their podcast on it, because I'm really curious as to what they think about this. Because watching them go through that, and at that point, nobody thought that he would be found guilty. Like, everyone was just like, he's going to get off, they're not going to be able to prove this. Well, it turns out that Keith Raniere was a narcissist and wanted to record everything. And turns out Diddy is the exact same way, because they got a lot of videos. A lot. 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Why? Why, y'all? Anyway, I'm glad that I got you guys into The Vow's mind blowing for me. Yeah, see, so some of y'all did watch The Vow. So I'm telling you, if you haven't watched The Vow, if you need some watching material that is not Sister Wives but is highly entertaining, please do so. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Shoot me a message, or jump on Instagram. You can follow me at Official Red Lip Club. Shoot me a DM. Tell me what you thought about it. I'm telling you, it's a doozy. But I'll make sure I at least post the link to the podcast when a little bit culty talks about it, because I think it's gonna be good. Couldn't get past the brands when they ever started thinking about branding. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah, y'all. FYI, they get branded. The girls get branded in The Vow. Listen, I was watching that during like the COVID era. It was crazy. It's about 4 years ago they filmed this, but it is eye opening. So yeah, when I saw Mark pop his little head on the screen, I said, "Are you kidding me? Like, no way. You lost the last one. You're not winning this one. You're not beating this federal case. You're not going to beat it." And then you guys are seeing all these high up people like CEOs and stuff from companies, from record labels. All these people are randomly stepping down from their jobs. So I'm gonna tell you now, this stuff there's a lot of people connected. It's gonna get real scary real quick. So we'll chat on it on the lives. I'm gonna keep doing Sisterized, but it's kind of fun to talk about some other things that are going on in the world. Pretty insane. I'm gonna tell you it's crazy. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna roll. I have to go to my friend's show. This has been a blast. Thank you all so much for joining and hanging out with me, having a good time, talking about who knows what and everything. Obviously, Sisterized, but yeah, definitely we'll talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. The lady from Smallville recorded discussing the nitty gritty of how to brand other women. Process. Ugh. Oh no. Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. So anyway, y'all, I'm out of this piece. I will see you next week with a new video. Until next time, be safe. Have a good evening. Bye.